Hello, it's Devorjae, and this is another episode of True 7. And today I'm going to give a baseline description of your genetic makeup, of a lot of secrets and hidden things about our human people. I'm going to give you a lot of information pertaining to your makeup, where you come from, with scientific fact, historic fact, trial and error fact, even experience on my part, and also on your part, think something that you can experience with yourself and see every day in front of your eyes to understand that what I speak isn't false, and scientific information, yes, mathematical, all that stuff. But yeah, this video is going to be on the reptilian race and reptilian gene and reptilian everything that controls your world, informs it, and the powers that be, a branch only of the powers that be, just a branch of it, because there's so many, and it's just not, a lot of people get tied up in thinking Illuminati, and that's such my new basic thought of, it's so much more than that, on a big level. But it's like this, if you're going to say Illuminati, you have to get the understanding in your head that the Illuminati is like the NBA. It's a system within a system already, and it's a corporation in a way. It's a business. It's a team of teams, though. So when it's many branches into the Illuminati. It's many secret societies within the Illuminati, and all those secret societies that have been put within what we would know as the Illuminati are not all negatively agenda influenced. It's agendas specifically for them. It's like they have their own free will within a group. It's just like I said, the best comparison I can make right now is like an NBA association, but how the NBA has many teams within it. The Illuminati is the NBA, and then there are many teams within that. Some of them are good teams, and some of them are bad teams. And that's a key point. That's a key point I was saying. Some of them suck, and some of them are good at what they do. So when we get to speaking about this, it's not a matter of, oh, they're evil, they're trying to kill us, or they're fucked up people. It's not that. It's within the plan of a laid out format, blueprint, that is to be. It's just through their decision, which your decision is what you're going to do, is called an agenda. Due to their agenda, is their agenda clashing with another agenda within that team, and is it going to work out? And if it doesn't work out, who's going to come up on top to say, okay, they get the leeway? So, in a good sum up, that's what, when you're speaking of Illuminati, that's what that is. Now, to continue on with the reptilian agenda and reptilian protocol, reptilian presence period in the world, information on it, just so you can know. It's not to change your belief or any of that. As I always say, this is strictly information that connects the dots to truth, and this is true stuff. But yeah, okay, so to start off, now it's best to start with the inner. Now I'm going to talk about, how can I start this off? There's so many places I can go. Now I'm gonna start off with some very, I guess alchemy science. Green, the color green. Green represents regeneration. It represents cycles. It represents money. It represents greed. It represents manipulation. The color green. The color green is also in the middle of the color scale of the color wheel. And if I asked you what color a mirror was, you're probably either going to say no color or clear or silver. And the thing is, it's neither one of those. A color of a mirror is green. And this is fact by saying a color of a mirror is green is look in a mirror at a mirror of mirrors. When you know you look in a mirror and there's a mirror in a mirror and a mirror in a mirror, and then you go into the distance so far until you can't see yourself anymore. I want you to look into that mirror and look at the distance and look to it's as the mirrors go on from being clear, it gets green. Because green is the first color of the color spectrum, and honestly the color from creation, once everything was moving, it's earth and the foundation, it's green. Now those facts about the color green. And now I want to talk about snakes. Snakes, when you think about snakes, their role in the stigmas, that the words, the labels they have put on them, you know, slithery, manipulation, hypnotizing, ice slits, very feeling and logical creatures at the same time. Very intuitive in feeling. They're animals, so they know their environment. They don't even see, they sense you rather than see you. They have their slithering tongue, the sound, that's their touch and that's their sense. They can tell a lot through you only through the sounds they hear and what they smell. They see through smell. It has nothing to do with eyes. And how they do see is in vibrations and heat signatures. So they can see auras basically, like many animals can. Religiously, I guess I went on all the concepts. You can look at a snake and see all the features and why the features that it gives, and even though the letter S is shaped like a snake, and the S, seduction, and slavery, even these occultic words that, depending on your perspective, what they mean, sin, you know, man, so much. Just the S itself and what it represents in Egyptian. I think the number 1 or 2 is the snake sign. I'm thinking it's number 2. The snake symbol is number 2, was written in Egyptian times. But touch on, man, I ain't gonna have enough time to touch on everything I want, so I need to speed it up. Plain and clear. Even in historically known in our society, before humans, in mainstream media, they say, "Oh, before humans, there's dinosaurs." Yeah. And for people who probably don't believe in dinosaurs, we get our oil based from dinosaurs. So dinosaurs were here before humans. In mainstream media could have programmed in our minds for us to know that. Even at that point, they put that in society. When we look at the national bank, overall banks, the hospital, overall hospital, all their symbols are always a snake with a bird. If y'all don't know, birds are also reptiles. And land dwelling map, they're reptiles, so it's just as us, because we have the Florida-based DNA strand. Religiously, the story of creation in Christianity is the snake who talked Eve into telling Adam to eat from the tree of knowledge, the fruit of knowledge, whatever they want to call it. It's an apple that he ate, which represents knowledge, and the snake being the illuminator, being the eye opener, being the man, it's so much. And this is the thing, people don't think if there's a snake in the Garden of Eden, all the animals, but this one could talk. I mean, if y'all want to go by the white beard God person that y'all have the image in your head to create the story, to saying that's God, the underlying story is that the snake told Eve to do that, because if they read and know about God, they become God. But it's kind of like snake, if they're going to have a snake talking in the garden, it's like obviously God put the snake there to do that. So that's the ever-going circle of the manipulation tactic. But all the associations with the snake, and when you look at, besides Christianity and Islam, all depictions of the snake, they're put within the Eastern religion, and the symbolification is used within Kundalini, within the energy, within understanding thyself. They use the snake symbolism a lot. When we even talk about Krishna and Buddha and all these, they put the snake isn't an evil thing put within their society, but in Western society it's going to be put at that for a programming for you, and everyone pretty much was like, oh, I don't like snakes because that's what a snake is, but they're reptiles, and I'm getting kind of off the talk. I need to get more on the reptile feet. Even in, like I said, evolution-wise, it's been discredited within evolution of us rising from apes. Many times that's just common sense. Apes are still here, so if something evolves from something, that what it state it evolves from dissipates. We have DNA strands. We share, obviously, DNA strands with the ape too, because the ape also shares strands with something else from the cycle of an evolutionary cycle, but there's still mixtures of beings coming from that one being. And Darwin's other theory of the rising from fish can also be disproved, but even when you think of fish, fish is also reptiles. Reptiles rule the sea, land, and air, as I've already said. And dinosaurs had feathers back then, just as birds do now. So it's and if you're the common sense of life cycles, even if you want to believe in the dinosaur and the meteor coming and wiping that out and life starting again, if the point that life did dissipate something from there and it started again, the dissipation and the leftovers on that dinosaur still will even carry into the human life that would be formed consciously of a big being within that time span. So either way you look at it, the base of the line of DNA would still rise from a reptile. And just to say, modern man and that reptile cannot live with one another, so that's why there is a whole bunch of genetic splicing and sifting going on for ages and years. Mostly, the most prohibited period I can bring up is the Egyptian age. That's why the symbolism of the Egyptians was all about the snakes and the elongated heads and the cobra and all that, just being a king. And even when don't want to get too far off, but that proved there's also statues and many written in temples and texts about different beings always coming down, but one of the main beings being the reptile being, the upper reptile people. And more, if you want more proof of this, you can I'll talk about it in another video and speak about frequency, so you can kind of even witness it yourself and understanding something. But what's another factor about, okay, even looking at your hands, like webbed, like your limbs are even webbed already. You can, it's so much information. I would probably have to have more picture to convince you here right now, picture evidence and stuff, but I can give you references. David Icke is the best reference. He himself, if you're trying to find about this whole reptilian stuff, Google him, YouTube him. He goes in depth and he talks about even the details I went in on, but even more in depth. And I'll have another video going in more depth on speaking of those things. And like I said, y'all seen Lucy. If y'all did see Lucy, if y'all didn't see Lucy, check that out. That's kind of a good movie to even describe tapping into that DNA of that reptilian being and unlocking certain abilities. And when you speak even more historic facts and interpretation, we look at even Eastern culture, religion, and all their stuff. The yogis, the shamans, and they speak of things. It's always of a reptile heritage and embracing of the being, but that's so domesticated and pushed far away from Western way, from understanding of like a singular aspect of not looking at good or bad, that it's probably hard for a Western world mind to understand or fixate on that concept. But there's I'm getting past the 12-minute mark. I want to do these videos, but I myself, I'm not going to call myself a shaman or a yogi and none of that, but I am a shaman realized, and I realize the power I have in my connected bloodline and my past lives and everything. So a lot of this information that I get are from higher selves and from frequencies coming from everywhere. And like, I don't have this hair for no reason. And it's antennas, and I'm gonna speak about that on the video about how your hair is basically your connection to a lot. You know? But yeah, in this video, it's about to be 15 minutes. But this is Devorjae True 7. I have more videos coming up. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.